Hello, my name is Ethan, and welcome back to another episode of Path of Exile Ancestor League 3.22. Alright, in today's episode, I want to go over some build updates because we got the Mageblood, the Megeblood, and immediately I put it in the build, and I realized that my belt had Chaos Res, so I had to find a replacement for the Chaos Res. So I ended up making some bone rings, which I'll show here. I did a Minion Res 30% fracture. They were pretty cheap for the base, and then I just crafted it with Harvest for... I actually still have one here. You just reforge Chaos on this base. So you see I have the T3. You try... Wow, look, T2 plus the Minion move speed. So if that was both T1, it would have been done right there. There's T1, T1. There you go. So that's the example. Just hit Chaos Res guaranteed every time. So it's like only 5 or 6 tries of this. And then you just have to hit another suffix that you actually want. So in this case, I hit Minion move speed. And then I had life. And I slammed the Fizz Leech. It's useless. And I crafted mana regen. It's a pretty good ring. Gets me my Chaos Res. So we're good without the belt. So the build was playable. And then... I replaced the boot because I wanted a boot with an open prefix, and at the same time I was able to find a boot with suppress and life regenerate, which is really rare. You need an armor evasion base for that, evasion for the suppress, armor for the life regenerate, and to have both of them on the same is insane. T1, and then I got an open prefix. I actually hit the annul, didn't delete the life for the move speed, and I crafted Cannot Be Frozen, Rinveil, and I don't have to use Brine King anymore because I'm using a flask for avoiding stun. When you get 52 with the 95 increased effect from the implicit and from the enchant and the prefix, it goes to 100% chance to avoid stun. We're at 101, so we don't need Brine King for stun immune, and we have the avoid freeze, so we don't need the freeze immune from this. So all this would do is the reduced effect of chill, which is still good. But instead, I wanted to get projectile chain immunity, which is absolutely disgusting. And I have a question for everyone watching the video. Can detonate dead, the thing from the strong box, detonate nearby corpses, does that chain? Because it seemed to have chained me twice, and it's not a projectile, so this doesn't save me. Which, like, I'm not chain immune, I'm only chain immune with projectiles, which is kind of sad. But yeah, I switched to Lunaris, and I'm still on Ralakesh for the bleed immune. I still have this for the corrupted blood. I don't have a corrupted blood jewel yet. And then this makes it so they can't stack over 5. If you've ever used a Scroll of Wisdom, then like the video. And if you guys like the video and you guys are new to the channel, then hit that subscribe button so you guys are notified of the next one. Then if you remember my 6 off-color chest plate, I had T2 suppress and T2 chaos, and then some prefixes, and I really wanted to hit Gravicius craft on the prefix, so I tried annulling the old one, and I deleted the evasion rating, and I deleted like 1,000 evasion rating from the base. It was at 2,700 or something insane, and then what I did is... I also wanted the higher suppress because we're not running the quartz flask for the extra 10% anymore. So I needed the extra phasing, the extra suppress through this and the glove implicit to get me to 92. So that when I suppress spells, I'll get the extra 8% while phasing. Or just when I phase. So if I phase run, I'll also get the 8%. It's really sick. That takes me to 100. So from 92 to 100. So I needed the 22 on the chest and the 7 on the implicit Grand Eater of Worlds suppression to make up for the quartz flask. So then I technically could have also divined the helmet from 13 to 14, but that's only 1, which is the same as taking this to is it exceptional? Yeah. And so this chest, I used Essence of Envy, just Chaos Essence, and then I hit the T1 Suppress, and I slammed Life Regen. Because I got Life Regen, it meant that I can't use the Life Mastery for 15% max life. So because of that, when I did the Veil on the prefix, so I did Suffixes Cannot Be Changed, and then a Veiled Chaos Orb, and I got this Veil, I had this or the avoid stun, avoid LE ailment, or spell block, and I decided to take this one with life because I already had a life mod and I can't take the life mastery anyways. So here I get 10% life and 10% mana, which is actually really sick. And then I had the open prefix for the craft, and I just slammed evasion rating. It's not the best, but then this 12% Fizz's LE is massive when we have the LE flask. And our fizz damage reduction just sucks, especially when we go into the Eater of Worlds maps. And I've shown it in my video when I got the Mageblood. It was you press an altar that deletes 57% of your fizz damage reduction, so you have 0, and then converting it is really sick. So you're not just getting one-shotted by fizz. I also, after I finished up this, I said, the chest is pretty valuable. Let's actually get some implicits now. So what I did is I rolled my Searing Exarch for aura effect, and then I used the exceptional Eldritch Ichors. So it was a lesser versus an exceptional. And then when you use Orb of Conflict, it's going to have a higher chance to increase the lower one. So it has a higher chance to increase the lesser aura effect to higher. And then I kept doing that. I would replace the exceptional and upgrade this to... I got all the way to exquisite. It's one away from perfect. I didn't do perfect because it's way harder, way more rare, and probably not worth it since the Orbs of Conflict were like 50C per. Pretty expensive. 4 per div, basically. And yeah, then it led to the helmet. So I had this old helm with a +2 chaos res suppress T1 and then an extra res. So I really wanted to get an open prefix, so I could have Eldritch annulled this one, but I had a chance 1 in 3 to delete the +2, and that sounds terrible since there's nothing like this on trade. You can't find a helmet with this stuff on trade to replace it, to have a backup. So I figured, how would I do this? It's like I did before with +2 fracture. So I got this base for 11 divs, and then it's an 85, so you can hit the +2, hit the suppress T1, and then I rolled it with Essence of Envy, hit the T1 Chaos, I hit Spell Suppress T1. I was thinking about what to do with the open suffix, and I just slammed it with an Exalted Orb, hit T2 Cold Res, very lucky. If not, I could have recrafted this. It's only 78 tries of Essence of Envy to hit the T1 Suppress, so it was like a few divs, worst case scenario. And then what I really wanted, I wanted the open prefix so I could craft this fizz as fire. So for example, now we have the 12 on the chest plate, the 8 on the helmet. This is 20% of fizz damage from hits taken as LE. It's insane. When we go to 0, it's massive damage reduction, because then we have the 75 and we have the less damage taken of the elements, so it's like actually massive. And then I also took this mastery for 10% of fizz from hits taken as chaos, so then chaos is against this 75 and we don't have a chaos less damage taken, so technically it does more, but still another 10% of the fizz damage from hits, so we have 30% now. And then there's actually Eater of Worlds fizz taken as LE on the helmet. You could do 2 instead of mana reservation, but I chose mana reservation in this case. And then I hit high T1 evasion rating. It's not the best, but it's pretty rare, and it's actually pretty good. 789 evasion rating in the helmet. So then I rolled the implicits. So I did the same thing. I did an Eater of Worlds lesser to hit the aura effect. I hit it the mana reservation. I hit it 3 times in like 200 tries. I rolled over it accidentally, so that's why 3 times. And then I used exceptional Eldritch Ember so that it was exceptional versus lesser, higher chance of lesser being upgraded, and then I Orb of Conflict, and it took so many fucking tries, it was insane, but easy reservation 10. And then I was able to take out the small cluster jewel for the destructive aspect 2 point. And I just took the mana reservation from the tree, and also new tree. So I took out this, very simple. It was just this notable, the sacrifice node wheel regen, and this jewel socket, and this path. And you can see where my tattoos were, and you remember the old build. And all I did was go up 1 point to this jewel socket, and then I took the aura effect, and I connected it. And then we only path this way, and we come through here, and we still have all the crit immune, so the 10 points of crit reduction. we still have the 7 points of reduced effective shock, so we're still shock immune. And then we gained a cluster, gained jewel sockets, gained damage, lost some life, but even gained some minion survival, like extra life. And then the only loss was a bit of regen from this section. Overall, really nice swap, and I like this version of the tree a lot. It's really fun. Really sick. And then like 97, so I still have 3 extra points, and like for example 6% life, 6% life. You had the life mastery, you have the 10% aura on you, you have masteries, you have the 2-point rotten claws, you have another medium cluster. Like there's so many things, there's so much potential. It's really sick. And yeah, I've still been using Mistress of Sacrifice for the extra move speed from the Flesh Offering rather than doing Plaguebringer. If I was AFKing Blight, I would probably be doing Plaguebringer for the consistent damage reduction and damage, where this wouldn't really do anything because I wouldn't be using the Offering, and I wouldn't need to have the increased effect of my Offering, and I wouldn't really need Trigger in Blight, so yeah. So I don't know how I forgot this, but I went over all the other stuff, but you know, one really important thing is the Mega Blood goes Flasks. Yeah, so 70% increased effect on each one with the Kindling Orbs, and then increased effect on each one, 25, so prefix and enchant done. And then it's evasion rating I did, move speed, which getting 14 is actually harder, like it's pretty expensive. And then avoid stun has to be 52 to get the 101, and then regen I did. Those are my choices. There's a lot of other ones we can do, but it's cool that we didn't have to do the shock. And I don't have armor yet. I have like no fucking armor, and we've just done the fizz conversion instead. And we still have 24 fizz damage reduction from the Chaos Golem and the bone armor, bone barrier. Now my final thing, show the cluster. I ended up, so this first one became a Feasting Renewal Vicious. I removed the Rotted so that I got an extra regen, so that I could remove this. So I had the 3% from this, and then I did Renewal Vicious Rotted for the second one, different, remove the Feasting for Rotted. And then I didn't even take the Rotten, it gives it this position. You can also do Raise and Pillage instead of Rotten, and it does the same shape, so you don't have to take the back node. Save 2 points, but then I did, yeah, Dread March Renewal. And then I need to fix these mediums. They have attributes, but I don't even use attributes, so it's kind of meh. Yeah, need to go over the clusters though. They're huge. Now I'd like to thank my Patreon and YouTube members who financially support the channel. Thank you guys so much for the support. Rico549, David, Stephen with a PH, Stephen with a V, Cynic, Hannes, Lewis, Nicholas, White Wolf, and N8. Thank you guys so much for the support. Bye!